Any quick topic before we start the show?
Ooh. My quick one, man. You and I was discussing it a little while ago, man. Houston general manager coach is gone. Gone. Bill O'Brien.
Brian out.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Happened like the last several hours.
Yep.
God. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Yeah, he out. I don't know who's stepping in. That's why I was asking Black who's stepping in. I don't know who's stepping in, but he is out.
I had a funny feeling this was going to happen. I was reading an article a few hours ago before this happened, and he said, I'm not concerned. I got to control what I control. Coaches say those things, and to an extent, that's true. But when they went to Watson, what Watson said to me made a lot of sense. Look, Watson said, it is what it is. He said, I'm going to stay happy. I'm going to stay upbeat. I'm going to stay joy. It's just a game. To me, that's like, this mofo get ready to get up out of here. I got my contract. I don't care. And then Watt was like, something's got to change right there. And Watt says something's got to change. That's it right there. You got your leaders basically kind of dissing themselves from like, we're on 4, but you got to make a move. You got to make a move.
Wow. Yeah. I thought Gates would be first. I just knew Gates would be first.
He should have been fired 3 weeks ago, though. Man, that's not good. 3 weeks. Should have fired him 3 weeks ago.
How long Dow's gonna hold on to McCarthy, Ice?
They didn't spend the money. He's gonna be there this year. He's gonna be there. He'll be there this year. I don't know what they're gonna do after this year, but he's gonna have to change it because if he doesn't, I don't see Jerry making an interim because you gotta have somebody to go to, and I'm not sure if they do to have an interim coach to go to, but that or somebody else is gonna have to start calling the plays because that's a sad state of affairs. But I'm surprised by that Houston situation because I'm surprised, but I'm not. I think it was needed, like you said. But watching these games and watching Watson just shake his head like what's going on, and then you literally just get rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Say what you want to.
That was a bad move.
Dude is a stud. He was.
Yes.
They were trying to build on something for the franchise for a long time coming, and because of issues with their personalities, and you just go ahead and let that man go. And what you got back was like, it's all right, but it's nothing that, imagine him still throwing to DeAndre Hopkins. I'm just saying, you don't let that go. He ain't had no drug problem. He might have had too many baby mamas. But you can get over that, right?
That ain't none of his business. It's business, not personal. It's business, not personal.
Right. So yeah, I think he's they did it right. I don't know what they're gonna do now to try to correct it because it's tough when you do. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be. I don't know if he's going to be an NFL Hall of Famer, but he's going to be somebody you're going to talk about as one of the best to ever play during this time if he keeps rolling like he is.
Think about him for a second, man. This guy has balled out. Hopkins, I'm speaking of, with bad quarterbacks. Bad quarterbacks. He was still getting numbers and doing his thing. So you can't respect that as a general manager, coach. You deserve what he got, what he received, bro. You have to basically sometimes, I ain't got to love you to work with you. It's just that, I don't have to. I have to love you to work with you. But you have to basically get along with them. You chose not to. You let your pride and your arrogance get in the way. They got you fired, bro. They got you fired.
Welcome to the Goon Squad's first 40. It's Black Thor, it's Ice Water, and yours truly, Puma. I'm still champion. Campion. Till I get beat this year, I'm still campion. All right? Puma has spoken.
Temporarily.
What's up, Black?
What's going on, baby? Temporarily, man. Temporarily. That's fine. We're on the trail. As one Jackie Gleason said a long time ago, we tail grabbing your ass right now, bro.
You know what, man? Hey, you are a champion, man. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to do, like heavyweight champion. You got a whole year to enjoy it. You don't have to defend your title right away. But if sooner or later, it's gonna catch up with you. So enjoy it. Go on the talk shows, do the circuits. Eat, drink, be merry. But there's changes coming. I'm just saying, maybe. Yeah. And it might come in the sense of your pops too. So it don't seem like that.
Yeah, he ain't slowing down. So we'll get to the picks a little bit later, but let's review week 4. Week 4, Ice. What teams, games, or players stood out to you?
Well, I can't run from it. I'm not gonna run from it. I mean, it's the Dallas Cowboys all day long. The one thing I'll say as a fan, I'm not a fanatic or anything like that, but I've been watching for a long time. If you ask me who my team is, I would say the Dallas Cowboys. But I'll say this, and I think I told you guys earlier, the Dallas Cowboys have showed me who they are. Okay, all of the hype, all of the talking about how great they are, how much talent they have, and with a change of coach, I thought that was going to make a difference. It has not made a difference. Everybody knows about the issues with the defense. Okay, that's great. But then if that's the case, then you still should be able to outscore a lot of these teams because they haven't been able to do it. And the one thing that a lot of people are talking about, have said before, Mike McCarthy's kind of showing you, taking that Green Bay attitude, his philosophy, where he's throwing the ball all the time. How in the hell does Dak Prescott throw for 500 yards and so many touchdowns and reaching these crazy marks on the field as far as him running, him passing the ball? It's all about him. And they are not winning ball games. Ezekiel Elliott, what is it? 54 yards, 12 touches.
12 carries, yeah.
You have to get him in the damn game. Some way. You got to balance that out. I know Dak Prescott's trying to get his contract, but somebody is calling the plays. CeeDee Lamb has showed you that he's the truth. Every week, there's no reason why they're not getting it done offensively, and they're waiting. So again, quickly, they are who I think they are now. They've shown me that. Because back in the day, Cowboys fans knew you was integrity. You wanted to win, all that too. This team reminds me of the NFL version of the LA Clippers. I'm not seeing a lot of heart. They're looking up at the scoreboard. They look kind of cute too. I'm like, damn, when did football get cute? People worry about the hair and, checking on their stuff. I mean, Jerry Jones needed to go back to that master mentality. I know y'all ain't trying to hear that. That's crazy. But you need to put some people in order, get them in order, because they playing like they soft.
Black, what games or players or whatever happened on week 4? Because it was like a disaster for me as far as my picks. But what stood out for you?
I'm going to jump on the Cowboys real quick, and not really the team, but the hire McCarthy, because you're seeing now why Aaron Rodgers wanted him out of Green Bay. You're really seeing why, because he makes no adjustments. He does anything. Let's just air it out. He stands there and look at his clipboard or his plays all day. He's not even calling the plays, bro. And what I find interesting is that if you know your defense, this is not that hard to kind of determine. If you know your defense is not where it needs to be, then you got to grind the game out, bro. You got to go in there with mentality to set the stage where we're going to let Zeke loose and feed him. But I will say this about the Cowboys players, and I think they bought the hype in the offseason. They got Lamb back, was trying to get his contract. I might have said this on a previous show. The man built a football field in the back of his house so he could practice in the offseason. That's ridiculous, bro. You're not going to be able to sell that property. You get traded or you sign another team, you're done. Nobody's buying it. Ask Deion Sanders about it. He did that too. It took him years. Now, he still have that house. He can't sell it. But I remember week 1, I think week 1, or it might have been week 2, and Zeke went out and got a tattoo on his belly, feed me. They're more about the hype. Do it on the field first, gentlemen. Accomplish it on the field first, then you get to all that. But it's like they act like they've won 2 or 3 Super Bowls. They walk around with that mentality, and every week they come out there and find a way to get their butts kind of handed to them. I'm going to say this, man. It's a team that we probably won't talk about much. We're not paying much attention to. But the Carolina Panthers are playing some football, bro. That team is playing some football with a new head coach, college guy that came in there. And these guys are playing. They lost their star running back a couple weeks ago. They haven't missed a beat. They didn't win last week, but they're playing. They're moving the ball around. The quarterback, the brother that New Orleans should have kept,
Bridgewater.
He's doing his thing down there. With that being said, man, the Chargers, even though they lost yesterday, they came very close to beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they have themselves a team, bro. There's no way Tyrod, I'm sorry that he got shot in the lung, whatever happened to him. You can't put Tyrod back on the field. that young quarterback has impressed me. He didn't even look that good in college the way he looks now in the NFL. He has impressed me. Cincinnati going out and winning, bro. I picked them to win, and Cincinnati's basically building some momentum. They got to go when that quarterback is playing beyond his skill set in a sense right now at the NFL. And I shouldn't say that because he stepped in with a lot of confidence, and not just say he's playing bigger than what he is, but he's playing, man. That young man is slinging the ball and he's getting it done. The team loves him, and sometimes he's taking some serious hits and he's fighting to get back up quickly. He wants to show them he's tough, and he is tough. He's taking some pounds. He's not playing around. Buffalo did what they did again. I mean, these are the teams. I'm gonna hit some teams that don't get a lot of love, but we need to start paying attention because Buffalo's coming, bro. They're coming strong, and I was impressed with them. I was even though Houston kind of battled back and lost to Minnesota, it's just that team to me is just not there. Minnesota, you won, but keep in mind the defense that you play. So I'm still not convinced. But I will say this, man. Detroit, I'm curious to see where they're going to be in week 8 because they're playing with a lot of fire. They may not win the games, but this team is playing with a different enthusiasm, a lot of fire, and they're looking good. So those are some of the teams that kind of jumped out and stood out. I mean, that was going on. But I didn't see this coming too, and I'll leave on this. I was looking at some of the Miami, Seattle, and they played Seattle tough, bro. Miami really should have won that game. They played Seattle real tough. I was kind of impressed with that. But that Metcalf as a receiver, that cat is no joke.
Yeah, Ice, you texted me about Miami, so I want to give you some more time to talk about some of the games that stood out for you. I know Fitzpatrick had 315 yards, 2 interceptions in that game, and then Wilson had 360 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception in that game. And, Metcalf had 4 receptions, 106 yards. And so, yeah, he's playing out of his mind, trying to make up for that lost touchdown from last week, I bet. But some of the other games, Ice, that you noticed yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, just that Miami thing real quick. I like the way that they're going about their business. They're coming along. I think if Tua is able to kind of get his groove together and is really healthy and they can build some chemistry, I think you're going to start to see Miami make a move, particularly when you see somebody like Tom Brady moving, getting out that conference. I mean, you still got Cam over there, but I think Miami's trying to inch their way up, maybe being the 3rd best team up there and maybe even a little bit more depending on where they're at. The other team that I have to look at too is I think we jumped the gun because we got all excited. I thought they were better or whatever, but they're not showing me what I was looking for early, and that's Arizona. You know, for some reason or another, Kyler Murray still, throwing a rock around. As we said, Hopkins is catching the rock, but they're kind of coming back to earth right now. And I think you watching these games, oh yeah, Arizona, and then we put them up there, and then you see that loss. Arizona, there's another loss. So I think we're going to have to watch them very closely. But the one thing I will say overall about the league, we're noticing maybe because of what's going on, but a lot of games are a lot closer with teams. I don't know, it seems a lot more parity going on. A lot closer than you just don't see teams like, okay, oh, this team is better, so much better than this other one. And you turn around and look at the score, as Blackthorn mentioned about Miami and Seattle. I mean, 31-23, that's a touchdown, 2 scores, or 1 score, if you will, and that's a game. And I think it's very tight. So you have to watch very closely. The only team I see is really balling out right now is you might look at a Green Bay or something like that too, or Seattle was, but it's still real close. Even Kansas City is, having their turn. So it's very close.
I'm going to stay with you with this question real quick. It seems to me that coaches are not coaching to win anymore in these games. They're coaching not to lose. They get a lead and they try to milk a lead by running the ball and not making first downs. The defense is back on the field. And these games are, like you said, are a bit more competitive than we've been seeing in the past. But to me, it seems like it's bad coaching. A lot of coaches are making some dumb decisions. One coach just got fired. Am I just making this up? Am I seeing things? Or coaches are playing not to lose, but they're not playing to win?
Well, I don't know. All I know is we're seeing almost seems like a pattern where you're seeing really conservative conservative coaching. And the main game from last week that showed me what it was is Philadelphia versus Cincinnati Bengals. And Cincinnati Bengals was right there. They're going back and forth. The Philadelphia Eagles had an opportunity to try to, move the ball or whatnot. and it was like on a 4th down play, and it was tied. And it's like, okay, they said, "Oh, we're gonna punt because we think we can hold." I'm like, "Punt? Don't you go for the win? This is Philadelphia." And my question, I think I asked you guys, is if there was a crowd there, would they have done the same thing? This game was in Philadelphia, but yeah, just stuff like that too. And you're seeing it where coaches was like, and then you're asking yourself, even with the New Orleans Saints, okay, we know Michael Thomas is out, right? But what about the other players? I mean, Kamara's coming on, and they did what they had to do, but it just doesn't have that spark. It's almost like, well, we don't want to go too fast or too quickly, because if you make a mistake, like you said, close games. Tampa Bay was this close.
Yep.
They were losing at a point. So 1 or 2 mistakes can mean a loss.
Yeah. Black, am I kind of making this up? It seems like these coaches are making some bonehead decisions, and it's costing them games.
I think 2 things are happening here that you're starting to see take place: overcoaching and overthinking. That's the main thing I think you see are happening, is where they're overthinking and overcoaching stuff because they're afraid to lose. So they're afraid to kind of stand up and make a decision. So they kind of let things run. And I think we saw that with Cleveland against Dallas with the big lead.
Yeah.
It's like they just kind of just basically rolled out there. Let's just go through 1, 2, 3, 4, get back off the field. And it wasn't until they did that trick play where they actually kind of bust the game open and took the game on. That game should have been over a long time ago. It really should have been. And I think another thing that's kind of sneaking into the NFL and sneaking in quietly through the back door, and I don't like it, is analytics. I think these guys are starting looking at numbers. They're letting people put these numbers in their head. And I don't think it really has a place when it comes down to NFL football. But I was looking at a game yesterday when I was talking about the 2-point conversion, and they kept talking about the analytics. You got to go for it, this and that. Sometimes you just got to feel the pulse of what's going on with your team, what's going on. And it's almost like a chess match. Stop looking at the numbers. But I think between those 2 reasons is why you're seeing what you're seeing.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the games yesterday, and I'm like, wow, if it's working, and you've been pounding this team, and you've been doing all these things that's working, why stop? Keep going. They can't stop it, so keep going. So the last question on the NFL football is COVID. COVID snuck its ugly head up again. And Cam is not playing tonight. So I know a lot of folks were like, should they have postponed the game so Cam can come back? Because they did that with Tennessee and Pittsburgh. Black, what's going on? Is that they're paying preferential treatment to one particular league or teams and not to others?
Well, I think the problem here with not postponing it longer, Tennessee I think you have multiple people that tested positive.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was like 7 that tested positive. So you really want to try to get a grip because you don't really know how those 7 might have infected someone else. With New England, based on what we're hearing, it was only 1 player. So what they did is they kind of quarantined him. They tested everybody else rapidly or whatever, and the test came back and it showed where no one else was affected. So therefore, you can't move on and play. To me, that's the basic difference. You're going to act like it's something other than that, but that's all I see. When you got 7 to 1, 7 might add to more than that coming up. And I guess once they do realize that, you know what? Because I think, too, with Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, they were like 5 or 6, and then 2 days later, a couple more popped up because they were thinking about playing on Tuesday. I think that was their focus of playing Tuesday. And before they really said, okay, we're going to play, then another player or 2 popped up, and they was like, you know what? We just got to scrap this whole idea. With Cam being the only one, it kind of makes sense in a sense to kind of go on and play and get it out the way. At the end of the day, man, NFL is not about COVID, bro. It's about money.
Yeah.
It's about money. So if you have 1 player, it could have been, for that matter, the punter. If you have 1, they're playing, bro. You got backup, suit them up, they got to go.
All right. Ice, COVID. Is preferential treatment with these teams, or was it the right call to let New England play?
Look, like you said, we love you, Cam, but we can't. They can't hold up all these advertisers, and they get an opportunity too to come back tonight and throw another game at you. Prime time. Oh my goodness, are you kidding?
Ain't nobody watching that game. Ain't nobody. I'm not watching that game.
Well, you're not watching it, but you mean some other people not watching that game? Yes, they are.
The way Atlanta been thinking it up for the last few weeks.
It's football. It's football. What are you talking? I mean, I know you feeling some kind of way. He wanted the season did not start, and you wanted to end because of COVID. It ain't happening. It's not happening. Somebody gonna play. So those fanatics and those football fans want to watch the game. I bet you they're watching this game. It's football, NFL football. I'm telling you, they don't care. They like, ooh, and it's a game on. Really? We get 2 for 1 tonight? Oh my goodness. I'm just saying, so you have to see that. Granted, and I looked, I said, damn, that's on CBS and it's free? Oh, hell. Man, they cooking popcorn. It's kind of warm in most places. They got the they having a tailgate, people drinking, Black Thor. Anyway, all kinds of stuff. I'm just saying, man, they doing it. They're doing it. But in regards to like them making favorites, I don't think it's like that. I mean, you can say that, but if you scared, stay on the porch. So they say, stay home. But most of these teams are like, yeah, we playing. And I think the best thing they could have done, nobody want to talk about it, they should have had a bubble like everybody else. They should have had a bubble for each division or whatever it is and got them in there. But they didn't want to be restricted because everybody want to move around. But they would have had that bubble where you could have tested them guys way early, got them out, got them together. If you tested positive, we're going to get you right. We're going to keep you confined to this city, and we're going to roll with it. But that makes too much sense. And plus, it's the NFL. They're going to do what the hell they want to do it on their own terms. You ain't going to tell us. Baseball tried to be tough, but they're not the NFL. NFL said, well, if 30 or 45 of you guys test positive, we're going to test you and keep you away, postpone the game, come back. But is anybody negative? Yeah, okay, well, let's keep moving forward. And then we'll get those guys next week or 2 weeks from now, or we'll hold that game back till later on in the year. But we must proceed forward.
Yeah, because I know in baseball, they didn't play some games because the season was basically over. They just didn't get back to them. Yeah.
Can I drop something here real quick, Chief?
Sure.
I'm going to say this, man, that to me, Monday Night Football, and I remember a few years ago when the games were stinking or whatever, Monday Night Football in reality is not about football.
Right.
Monday Night Football is about beer, wings, parties, getting out, bro. That's what it really comes down to. So it has its own night where people just go out and watch football with other people. And like I said, it's not even based on who's playing, bro. You got Aaron Rodgers, that's enough. Aaron Rodgers playing the left, that's enough right there. Now you're gonna take Pat Mahomes and put him on another channel? Bro, come on, man. I mean,
hey, look, and two, the people, not to cut you off, but the people that's connected with fantasy, damn, Mahomes is playing this way.
Please.
Points. They like this. They checking everything out. Drinking, eating.
Black, I tried to get you to watch the NBA Finals last night because your prediction wasn't looking too good at one point with the Los Angeles Lakers going up 2-0. But I gotta say, man, I got a newfound respect for Jimmy Butler. Yeah, Ice, I got a newfound respect for Jimmy Butler. He's not one of those flash and dash and frill guys, but as far as toughness and old school, he's just putting his team on his back and barking at LeBron, talking about, yeah, y'all in trouble. You said we were in trouble. Y'all in trouble. So I was watching the game. I was texting you last night, and I'm like, wait a minute. It looked like varsity versus JV at one particular point, but then Miami started to kind of just come on, wear them down, start rebounding, stop making a lot of the mistakes, and they seem to be in it with the series is 2-1 right now. I know you've been hearing some of the sports writers talk about it. What do you think, man?
I'm not going to pay attention. I mean, like you said, I hear what the sports writer said. And based on what they said, I like what I heard. It was basically said they was running the double teams and Anthony Davis running at LeBron, forcing them to basically get the ball out of hand, making them shoot three-pointers. I watched a little bit of the first quarter of game one, and Miami jumped out and got ahead. And it seemed like at some point, Miami realized, you know what, we're in the finals. And they kind of, I want to use the word choke, but they got scared. And I'm hoping that now, because the way Jimmy played last night, that if the rest of the team, and I think it will happen too, if the rest of the team shows up with that type of fire, LA is in trouble. They are in trouble. Because I said from the beginning, man, if they can push them around and have their way with them, that's how they win the series, man. So if they win the next one, Miami, I'm hoping that they do. I'm not going to let them guarantee that they will. But if they win the next one tied up 2-2, then I'm going to turn my TV on to it, bro. Because at that point, now we got a series. Because what's going to happen at that point is going to force LeBron to run and gun. And when he does that, he's going to take the bounce off the team. And the Lakers will not be the Lakers. And they're going to play right into Miami. But I'm looking back at it now, Spoelstra and Riley, you give them a chance to kind of come up with a game plan, bro, and have the team execute it. That's what you saw. That's what I heard you saw last night. So I'm happy that they did, because if they'd have lost last night, of course, right now, the ESPN would have been acting like LeBron won it already. They'd have been throwing a celebratory parade, everything else. So I'm happy that they picked up this game. But to me, the next game is really important. And I don't even want to jinx them. I just want them to win it. And then at that point, I will watch the next games of this series. But I'm happy to see that they kind of stepped up to him. Yeah, don't be afraid, LeBron. But I'm just hoping that the rest of them, because they seem like they might have been playing a little timid. They got a little scared. They follow his lead and step up, and they could take this series, bro. They could take it.
Well, they're missing two big-time players from their roster. Folks were really throwing dirt on Miami. And watching the game last night, you can just kind of see they did less of kicking the ball out and going in and trying to score. Because what I didn't like in the first two games, they would get inside, get a little intimidated by AD or Dwight Howard, somebody shot blockers, LeBron, and kick it out to somebody to shoot the ball. And the Lakers were playing great perimeter defense and kind of stopping any opportunities to score. But Jimmy found a way to get mid-range. He found a way to kind of get in and get fouled, not being scared to get fouled and get to the line, getting some of the Lakers in foul trouble. And he played real tough, a triple-double with 40 points. He was playing real tough, and you could see the rest of the team was playing tough too. Hero and other guys were playing. Robinson, they were stepping up and playing tough too. I hope they get those two guys back. I would like to see Bam up against AD, because what they showed me yesterday is that they were doing a lot better job in boxing out and getting to the boards, which was their Achilles heel in the first two games.
Yeah, and what is important to recognize that Hero and the other long-range shooter kind of struggled early on. And that's why they had to make Jimmy Butler become the true central focal point of that offense. I mean, he had to handle the ball. He was kicking the ball out to people. He was going to the rack. He didn't care who was in his way. He was going to, and 40 points is a lot of points. But he went to the rack, and he had a purpose. And he did enough early on until, you had Hero coming on a little bit longer. You had other guys hitting jumpers, and shooting like that. But the one guy that was a beast with him, or a monster with him, that nobody really talks about, and I loved him ever since he's come to the league, because he's just a blue-collar worker. He fits exactly right with Miami, and that's that Kelly Olynyk, man. Yeah. I told my brother, when he was in Boston, if I'm going to war on the basketball court, give me Kelly Olynyk, because he gonna bang with you. He can shoot the tray. He can beat you up. He can drop 32 if he need to, 22, whatever you need him to do. And he can play defense with his little headband. Kelly Olynyk last night was like, you know what? Hey, looked like a hippie. I look like almost an old, broke down Bill Walton. Anyway, I won't put that on, But he came in there and he was ready to ball. He don't talk. He just plays ball. He's been that way when he was that way at Boston. And now Jimmy just they talk about Hero and, all them other guys, but nobody talk about that Kelly Olynyk. And he came to play. And I think with Bam being out, that was major. But the whole point of it is that I think if they still want to get back in this series and remain in this series, Jimmy Butler's going to have to just do it all the way around, man. He's going to have to be that focal point. He's going to have to put him on his back to a point. So that means he has got to drop 40, but he has to control the ball. He has to keep it in his hands. He has almost like back in the day when Magic was when he was a young Magic, he was always, even when Kareem went out, Magic always touched the ball. You got to come with that attitude because he is the guy. And sometimes, we talk about different things. Sometimes you got to ride the guy. Love or hate Jimmy Butler, I've been trying to tell y'all. Wherever he go, he make them better. Minnesota, they was decent in Chicago. They make the playoffs. Everybody say he ain't a one. I think he a one now, huh? And I like his attitude because Jimmy Butler came from junior college. See, that's that dog, man. That's that dog. Jimmy Butler earned his keep and earned his strike. And he don't say nothing. Just take his money and move on, bro. Keep getting buckets. So LeBron, y'all in trouble. I like that. Who does that? Who does that? Man, I love Jimmy Butler. Even if they don't win, he always be all right with me.
Yeah, I said back in the past that, you know, he's not a max player, but in this bubble, man, he's been earning his max contract. If they want to offer him a max contract, he's deserving of that. And I have to eat my words on that. He's deserving of that max contract. Like I said, he's not the highlight reel guy that you're going to see with the crazy dunks and the crazy, you know, plays and passes and all that other stuff. He's just a tough, hard-nosed, blue-collar player that refuses to lose. So I have to admire that. While Black is pouring another glass of his secret stuff, we're going to move on to college football. And there were some upsets in college football I didn't see coming. TCU beating Texas. Iowa State beating Oklahoma. And it's just kind of tearing up a lot of the hopes and dreams, especially Oklahoma. They lost 2 times this year. They can forget their playoff run this year. But there have been some notable games being played, and I know that there are going to be some great games. Black, you'll be happy to know that Les Miles and Kansas lost 47-7 last week against Oklahoma State. So, Ice, what are some of the games that stood out to you last week?
Yeah, like you mentioned, that loss of Oklahoma State over Iowa State over Oklahoma. That was
Iowa State over Oklahoma, yeah.
Yeah, because you're sitting there going like, ooh. And you know Oklahoma's supposed to have the squad. They're really loaded, got a nice young quarterback, but he's still making a few mistakes. And Iowa State is like, no, we're going to get this. We're going to find a way to get it done. That was impressive. I watched that at the end. You can see Oklahoma coaches really, Lincoln Riley's really frustrated near the end of the game. Had a couple questionable calls by the referees, and he was like on fire. He was right up all of one of the officials. I was like, he does not want to lose this game. He's going to do everything he can. But in the end, that's how it's happening right now, too. You also mentioned TCU over Texas. A lot of people are asking the question now, did Texas make the right hire?
Hello.
We paid a lot of money for that man down there. When he came from The Ohio State University, you thought it was going to be all gravy. Take a little something out. They even asked Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer said, you know what the difference is? And everybody was like, oh, here you go. Urban Meyer said the difference is you get to recruits, but are you helping them develop and go to the next level? Once you get them, you got to develop them. He said, that's the difference. He said, if you get them, and you got 4 or 5 star guys, but what are you doing when they get inside the facility? So you can transform that as they get ready to move forward to the next level. He said, right now, that's not happening at Texas. So I think that's something you look at, too. And I'm going to just throw a team out there that I think is impressive. We'll see how they go down the line, but right now they show me a lot. That's the University of Florida, man. That quarterback, boy, woo! It's like, the Gators are ready to chomp. And Trask, oh, wow. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, buddy of mine told me, he's like, what do you think about the Florida Gators? Because he's a Gator guy. And I'm like, I don't know. We got to look at LSU and Alabama, but you watch out for those Gators. Some other upsets that happened is Tulsa over UCF and also Arkansas over Mississippi State. Didn't see those coming, but it seems like in this season, abbreviated or what, Black, teams are coming to play, and they want in on these playoffs. They want in, and they don't care who's in front of them. They want to play football, and they're glad that football is around.
Yeah, that's what I'm impressed with, because this is one league or one set of sports I thought that shouldn't be playing was college football. I was all for college football kind of sitting this out and kind of staying to the sideline. But the league has caught some traction. I'm not the league. The season has caught some traction. Excuse me. These players are really playing, man. I'm going to piggyback on what I said about Florida, man. I watched them over the weekend. Very impressive, man. Very impressive. So, yeah, and this season seemed like even though some things are going on, you can't tell some of these players and some of these teams. I'm not surprised that Iowa State beat Oklahoma, because every year they surprise and beat somebody they probably shouldn't beat. They do it every single season, man. So I'm not surprised. Crispin, Alabama is still, probably the cream of the crop. But I'm wondering at one point, because we know what's going to happen, at least we hope it's going to happen, when is Notre Dame going to kind of start to kind of trickle down a little bit.
You read my
At some
mind.
point, they always have high, and then they start to go on down.
Yeah, it won't be next week against Florida State. That's for damn sure. Florida State's not the team, and hopefully Bobby Bowden gets better. He just came down with COVID. But you have Clemson against Miami. Miami seems to be pretty tough, but this should be a good test for them on Saturday. Alabama versus Ole Miss. Georgia had a good game against Auburn last week. They played Tennessee. Florida is I don't think Florida is going to have any problem with Texas A&M. It's just not that good. Ohio State versus Nebraska on the 24th. And you have North Carolina, Virginia Tech. North Carolina just eked out a game last week. They're ranked number 8. Penn State, they'll play on the 24th. And Oklahoma State will play on the 17th against Baylor. And I checked out that Cincinnati game. Good win for them. I'm looking to see more from them. Any other games that you're looking forward to see in the next week, Ice?
Yeah, I want to see because this is I'm not gonna put this deep on it, but they need to be very concerned with a few coaches. I'm gonna tell you, Texas versus Oklahoma. I'm gonna watch that game just because they might need some EMTs available or somebody because the loser of that game,
it's done. It's done.
Ooh, they might stop coming to the games or stop watching the games. It's on the line for both of these teams, and the loser, particularly if Texas loses, oh my goodness, yeah, it could be rough down there in Austin.
They might pull a 45 and say they got COVID and then just cancel the rest of the season.
Apropos.
Black, any games you're looking forward to this week?
It's funny. I was going to say Texas and Oklahoma as well for those same reasons. But at the same point, man, I'm going to say this. I don't think Lincoln Riley will be there next year, bro. I just don't think he's going to be there next year. I think that some NFL team that's bad right now is going to throw him a boatload of money. It's going to be tough one to resist. And I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if it's the Cowboys.
Jets.
What? The Cowboys?
Jets.
I'm telling you. Because I think Jerry Jones, he has a soft spot for Oklahoma. So I would not be surprised that, he goes after him, but he will get offers in the offseason come to the NFL. And if they basically find themselves out of it, it's going to be very tempting. Even though Tennessee is not a good team at this point, I am going to see Georgia. I didn't really get a chance to watch Georgia this past weekend, but Georgia playing Tennessee. I'll go back to what I said, man. I don't think Lincoln Riley will be there next year, bro. Because a lot of these, especially after the coach that came from, I think it was Baylor, how he's doing now in Carolina, there's going to be more owners look back at college to bring some of these young cats in. And his name's been hot for a while for the NFL, but he's been saying no. But the right dollar price and the right team, in actuality, the team that I think he could go to, I know I said the Jets, I'll put him in Houston Texans, bro. With that quarterback.
Yeah. The thing is, they can't talk to anybody that's on contract in the NFL. I don't know if that's the same rule as in college. They can't talk to folks that are under contract.
Well, there's emails, there's texts, there's dinner meetings.
And your boy's the intro. Romeo! Romeo got the interim job, man. Wow.
There's another team, and maybe both of you want to mention this. I know I've seen them a couple of times that people are talking about, and they're ranked number 15, BYU. They keep talking, BYU is in the top 25. They keep talking about BYU being the team to watch. I'm going to keep my eye on them. I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything or have seen them this year.
I haven't seen them, but I'm not surprised, man, because they're always gritty when it comes down to college football and always kind of making noise. And a good team to watch. I mean, you watch them play, you're not sitting there going, wow. So it does surprise me.
Yeah. I think when you look at them, though, because of the conference they're in, and no disrespect to them, it's just what it is, but they usually have a high-powered offense. Oftentimes, they're going to score points. So early on, they are ready to play. So they're going to give you a little entertainment early on, might drop 48 on somebody like that. But the question is, as we get later in the season, how will they stack up? So right now, I think it's great that they're talking about them because that's what they do. That back in the day when was it LaVelle Edwards, the back in the day, BYU with the Ty Detmer days and stuff like that. They're always known to throw the ball around and make a lot of noise. So I'm not surprised, but we'll see what happens as we move forward.
Yeah, we're going to move on to Major League Baseball. And a sad note on Major League Baseball, Bob Gibson passed away. He was the 1968 National League MVP, two-time Cy Young Award winner, two-time World Series champion, as well as the MVP, two times, 9-time Gold Glove winner, 1981 Hall of Fame recipient. And the best story I heard, Ice, about Bob Gibson is that from Dusty Rhodes, he was talking to a younger player when they were playing, and he said, don't look at Bob Gibson, don't talk to Bob Gibson, don't rush the mound on Bob Gibson, because Bob Gibson will kick your ass. That's a man right there.
Wow.
In a picture.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, Bob Gibson definitely was a damn man, because back in the day, pitchers were not afraid. They would brush back. They didn't let batters lean all over on the plate. They didn't have all that armor a la Barry Bonds. If you got too close, they would back you up. And if you had a problem, especially with Bob Gibson, you said, like, come see me. And even later on, Bob Gibson got into a issue with road rage. Somebody was saying something. He got into a scrap with the guy. They stopped. They fighting. But one of the most interesting and humorous stories ever I just heard the other day. Bob Gibson, I guess it was his last year, might have been his last game. He was pitching, and he pitched, and the guy on his last game, the guy hit a grand slam off of him, right? Grand slam home run. And Bob Gibson was like, all right, whatever. He walked away. He was over. So, he didn't see the guy. Then again, in the celebrity game, he faced this guy again, right? Bob Gibson beamed him, man. Hit him with the ball. It's like 10 years later, he hit the dude with the ball. Dude, he was a man. I love Bob Gibson. Rest in peace. Damn it. That's what's wrong with it. Like, look, you know what? And even in that car accident situation, the guy was like, they said about 15 years younger than him. He's like, I don't give a damn. Let's go.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Oh, man.
Like anymore. Wow. Any words of Bob Gibson Black?
It's interesting, man. When I read this, it hurt me to an extent that we're losing, we've over the years, man, we've lost a lot of great Black baseball players, bro. That stood out over the years, have given a lot. And then when you think about it now, it's like we don't have that in baseball. We don't have those, those Black greats anymore. So it's like we just see it happen time and time again. That it's the way of life, but just to see his name and the number, and I mean, it's making him live a good long life. I'm thankful for that, but that's what I felt, man. It's like, we're starting to lose so many, man. Some of the old greats of Black baseball pioneers. We know Jackie Robinson did what he did, but when he opened the gate, man, all these guys came in and they gave us great games to watch and great stories to hear about.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Sorry.
And, Black, yeah. I mean, Ice, I'm looking at the Yankees, and they're against the Rays. They are 2-8 against the Rays. It's 1-1 right now, and this is going to be a series. They don't like each other,
right.
And the Yankees. I always said, and I was talking to my pop about this not too long ago, is that it seems the Rays have a kryptonite over the Yankees for some reason. For the last 4 or 5 seasons, the Yankees can't get past the Rays, but they want to taste that World Series. They got to get past this team right now. The other thing that I noticed in baseball is that the Houston Astros lucked out. I mean, we never lucked out in this pandemic, but they lucked out because they don't play in front of fans. I think it would have been a hard time for them playing away games in front of fans, because you knew how people felt about the Houston Astros and the cheating scandal, and they played with virtually no fans and got to this point. They won today by the score of 10-5 against the Oakland A's. Your thoughts on Major League Baseball, man?
Yeah, but I mean, the Astros said that ain't our fault. We didn't start the pandemic. What you want me to do? That's Dusty Baker like this. What do you want me to do? Maybe they will have forgotten by next year, so we start all over again. But I mean, anytime I hear you about Tampa Bay and New York, but when you think about it, I was looking at that the other night watching New York when they had played Cleveland, and you know you say Tampa Bay is doing this to them or they have the ability to, but anytime you got the names Judge, Stanton, dude, I was like, man, they've been hurt all damn year.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, here come the playoffs. Here they coming out trotting. They got their backs right. I'm like, really?
Oh man.
And anytime they in the lineup, you might get 10 runs just because. That's how they do. They're that talented. They don't play all year. They like, well, you just got to make sure we make the playoffs. You look at their seeding. They weren't even a high this year. They
were like number 5.
Yeah, let's just get in, and then everybody gonna come back. They came back. Whoop, whoop. It's like, oh wow, they getting ready. But overall, it was amazing. I can watch it now. I couldn't watch it early on. I told you, come talk to me about the playoffs. But you got Atlanta versus the Marlins. The one team that surprised me that made it was the Padres. The Padres have
beat St. Louis, yeah.
And they're playing the Dodgers. And I'm gonna just say this, if we get off this real quick. If the Dodgers can't win the World Series this year, they ain't gonna win it. Because it's set up for them. It's set up. They got the same squad. They even added some more firepower to their lineup. Things are discombobulated. Houston may not be as strong as they are. Yankees maybe. Let's say Yankees lose. What's your excuse, LA? You've been talking about it. You always say somebody did something. Now you said somebody was cheating before. Now what? Now what, Mr. Roberts? Now what?
But my thing is, will Machado bite the Dodgers in the behind because he played with them last year, and San Diego Padres, he's playing. They're playing against a team, a former player. Will that bite them in the ass this year? I mean, that's really the thing. The old folks, Black, used to say that when folks aren't giving you everything they got, like the Yankees, they're playing possum. And the Yankees are definitely playing possum during the year to get to the playoffs, to do what they're doing now. Because I thought the Cleveland series would be much tougher. No, it wasn't at all.
Yeah, they ran right through them, bro.
All right, what are they saying in New York about the Yankees, man?
Well, it's interesting. I remember a couple of weeks ago, it might have been about a month ago, man, Cashin talked to the team, and it was all pissed off. But it seemed like they just took the season off, to certain parts of the season off, to get to the off season. And you can kind of understand that in a sense because of the season that was basically short and what's been going on. So I'm sure it was hard for them to get up every single day and get up for every game. But now they're playing the part of the year that counts, and they're doing what they got to do. Like I said, they coming out swinging and smiling. It's money time now, baby.
Yeah, they got a hell of a pitcher. They paid him for this time of year. So,
yeah. Say that. Say it. I
can't say it. I can't say his name. I
tried to tell you. I said that man is gonna do wonders for y'all. He just joined the Yankees. No, that's not even the truth. That man is balling. He's nasty. And you put him with that lineup. They destroyed Cleveland that first game. Cleveland had a pitcher that led in 3 different categories. He's the best pitcher in the league. They were like, so dropped 12 runs on him. They're that nasty, man. That lineup is amazing.
Black, Stewart, Bird, and Lloyd take a 2-0 lead over the I think a 2-0 lead over the Aces in the WNBA final. And the ladies are playing slowly but surely under the radar, but there's some great basketball happening with this particular team.
It's interesting because you said Sue Bird. And think about this for a second. We talk about Tom Brady. We talk about LeBron. Sue Bird is 39 years old, bro. 39. Now, when I'm out, at that age, you go, okay, think about that playing basketball at 39. And this young lady in game 1, she didn't have that many points, but she gave out, she's a point guard, which is really her job to do this. She gave out 16 assists. 16 assists.
And 2 points.
Yeah. I always look at assists as being points anyway.
Yeah.
But, so, and then you bring back Breonna Stewart, and you're right, they're up 2-0 to the Aces, and the Aces is a real good team. And I remember I was reading what Bill Laimbeer said, basically, ain't nothing we can do. The series, he ain't said this part is over, but the series is over. They're going to play again tomorrow night. And for the most part, it's over because you put that together, Breonna Stewart, and the coaching that they have, the Aces don't have a chance, bro. They just don't have a chance. At 39 years old, just think about that for a second. She's out there playing like a teenager at 39, bro.
Yeah, because I thought she was going to retire a year or two ago. I thought she was going to retire a year or two ago.
I did too. I really did, man. 39, getting it done.
We talked over the weekend about playing on the practice team. I'll do it. How much they get? They get paid an awful nice dollar. I'll play on the practice team at 53. I'll play. Sign me up. Give me a helmet. Don't even give me a helmet. I'm good. Hell, you can put me in for a couple of plays. Ice, WNBA Finals, man.
Yeah, I mean, you look from that standpoint, the Aces are a little bit young. They try to do what they do, and they're going to be good down the line. But when you think about Sue Bird and Stewart, I liked Stewart 2 years ago when they won it before she got hurt. I mean, Stewart was just, they play basketball the right way. And I know that a lot of times the WNBA doesn't get the love because we're always talking about this different kind of ball and people are not paying attention. But if you watch Seattle, you can come away with saying, man, they make it look like it's a beautiful piece being played by an orchestra. Mm. They just it's chemistry, it's everything is they play basketball the right way. And maybe because they came from great programs, they were taught that way coming up, but they make it look very beautiful. And to what, as Black Thor mentioned about the Aces are they're no slouch.
No.
They work real hard. They beat some very good teams to get here. But Seattle's like, you know what? It's not your time.
And they're missing their point guard too.
Yeah.
They're missing a very important piece that I think would help them out. But yeah, they're young. I think I could see them in the next 2 or 3 years right back here, more experience, and maybe getting one of these things. But Seattle, I mean, they're doing their thing. They're doing their thing this year, and they're up 2-0. And I don't know the statistics about teams that get down 2-0 in the WNBA, but I know the statistics or the analytics Black don't like in the NBA. Once you get down 2-0, it's very hard to beat a team once they get 2-0 up on you. Question is from the squad. Black, what's your question?
I came across this today, man. I sent it to you, gentlemen, and I'm not focusing on the school that it happened, but it came across a story at Ohio State where in the past 20 years, the doctor's passed now, was this male doctor that was basically giving athletes steroids and forcing them to perform sexual acts, bro. And, every time we hear a story like this, and it didn't get the story that it didn't get the knowledge that Michigan State story got with the doctor with the women. But think about that for a second, man. For 20 years, a doctor was able to abuse young men that just basically young men that's trying to basically better themselves with an education and are trying to get to a professional status in life. And I'm just amazed, man, that they said their coaches knew and looked the other way. And it's like, I think as a society, I mean, I know I'm probably going a little long, but I just want to say this real quick. And it's a question too, but as a society, we got to start doing better with our young people, bro. We can't treat them like they're garbage. They mean nothing. And I think we just have to start looking at them and doing better. And that's what hit me. When I saw that story, that's what hit upon me, because these young men that fell prey to this, imagine what they're thinking now in their lives and how they're living, bro. And no one talks about that. I mean, I would assume they might be self-medicating with drugs, whatever the case might be, alcohol, whatever. Because if you think about it, 18, 19 years old, you make it to a university that you finally want to be to, and then you got this doctor basically taking advantage of you. Imagine how the rest of your life is going to be.
Ice, any words?
Yeah, I mean, it's really sad no matter what school it is they're at. But, the thing too is I think the majority of them a large number of these individuals who were victims were wrestlers. And you think about that from the standpoint, wrestlers are considered to be tough, right? You come in, they're man's man. Come in tough, and now you're dealing with a doctor that kind of puts you in a position where if you do say something, then are you going to be seen as soft? And then we know too that Now they're coming out, but before it's about if they're not wouldn't had a collective group coming out talking about it. You just one guy that's screaming and nobody's going to hear him. So there's a lot, and how will you be judged based on what you're saying in the allegations? And for a doctor to be around as long as he was, and also being protected, I mean that says a lot. You throw these allegations only one or two guys. You know how that usually works in America. Often falls on deaf ears. But I will say this about the Ohio State University. I mean, some people, you talk about it not being heard of. Around here it was talked about a lot, but Ohio State is like anybody else. What they do is they talked about it and it was out there, and now they do what they do. They talk about settlement, cutting them checks, bro. That's what they do. That's the business part of it. It's sad but real. But that's what they're doing. They're trying to make sure that it's almost one of those things like we can't do nothing else about it right now. We can apologize to you. It was effed up, but now how can we make this? What's the settlement? What's this gonna cost us? And I think that's what a lot of teams are doing. So that's why I don't think you've heard a lot of it now, because I think they literally are serious, or they haven't come to an agreement. It's definitely in that settlement stage.
Yeah, when I saw the story, it's this constant exploitation of the student athlete, and it knows no bounds as far as I'm concerned. They exploit them for their talent and make a lot of money off them. They're exploiting them sexually. They're letting the athletes exploit other people, other students, and other people in that town. And you just wonder, when does it end? When does it end? Because and when do adults act as adults at these higher institutions of learning? Because this is not acting like adults, and this is not what these institutions are built to do. And so you just wonder, who's in the controls, and why they keep covering up all this stuff. Stop exploiting students. Stop exploiting students, and stop exploiting other people for the sake of money.
Can I throw one other thing out there real quick?
Yes.
One other thing that I was thinking about when Blackthorn mentioned this too is the factor that the parents of these athletes, okay? I said it before, I said it again. You have to do your due diligence in checking out these programs, what's going on, and stop just turning over your damn kids because somebody make you feel good and they won so many titles and championships. At some point, you got to really realize that these sports, particularly now, back in the day it's a little different, but now these are businesses, okay? You're entering into a contract. This is a business. It's about the way your image and all of that stuff too. So you really have to pay attention before you turn your kids over just to somebody. Because you're feeling real good, they came to your house and they ate your cookies and your muffins. You really have to do your due diligence, because everybody that comes out there and is telling you how great they are with showering with all these gifts may not always be for the right thing.
Black?
I said it what I was basically would say, man. I think that, I mean, we can no longer expect people to just do the right thing, bro, because they come from a name that's been well trusted, have a tradition, whatever the case may be. It's incumbent upon parents now to be parents. I mean, stop thinking about where your kid might be going and focus on the safety, the welfare of your kid. Trust no one. I don't care if they're 18, 19 years old. Trust no one around your kids, man. Your kids should be your top priority, your prized possession, and stuff like this. I mean, I don't know in a world we live in it's going to happen, but 20 years, bro, 20 years, damn. So it's like, at some point as parents, not some point, even right now, you got to basically realize once your kid leave weight and go, you're going to send your kid someplace, you got to make sure every T is basically dotted, every I is crossed, whatever it has to be. And I might be saying that backwards, but you get the point I'm trying to say. And then just show up sometimes, man. Show up sometimes what the hell is really going on. Just don't send them off and forget about them and thinking that they're taking care of them, because in most cases they're not. And it's not an isolated incident. It's just an incident that got uncovered. That's all it is. Because I guarantee you, there's probably many universities where this is happening at, but nobody's talking about it. And it's time out that we stop this, bro. We really do. It's time that this get a foothold and we really start to put an end to this.
All right. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, bro.
No problem.
Right.
Yeah. I have a question. It's kind of WNBA related. Blackthorn, maybe you can help me with this. What is the WNBA's problem with my girl Candace Parker? Okay, they got a problem with Candace Parker. I don't know because I ain't gonna go there because she got.
Go there, bro. See that? If you're gonna ask the question, you gotta go.
Yeah, because she don't have an alternative lifestyle, right?
Thank you.
As far as we know.
And that's what it
now,
is.
my understanding that she was she the defensive player of the year?
She was.
And
she
then
was one of them.
One of them, but somehow or another, they had the team of whatever, all the WNBA, and somehow she didn't make it.
Yeah.
Then we go even further back to that where they had the Olympic team. She wasn't good enough to be on the Olympic team. She like top 25 of all time. I mean, help me figure this out. Because the first one thing you go, okay, well, maybe she didn't get along with the coach or somebody, but then overall, you're like,
no.
Huh?
It's I'm glad you said that because realistically, there was a couple of players, I can't think of her name, but there's a player that retired from the WNBA years ago. I think she played like 10 years. And she said, being the fact that she wasn't gay, let's stop playing around with it. It is what it is. She said that she wasn't gay. She basically caught hell, serious hell. And she wasn't as talented. Her name is not as known as well as Candace Parker. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was real telling a couple of years ago when the WNBA they allowed Candace Parker and Ella Don in Washington to pick the teams for the East and the West. Mm-hmm. And you basically had the West team with Candace Parker with girls that you probably wouldn't, women that may not have been gay, and the others were gay. And you seeing that play out. And that was, to me, that really tells you kind of what goes on with this league. And that's part of the reason why, my honest assessment and opinion, why the WNBA is not successful today. Because a lot of mothers, let's be honest with this, in my opinion, you do not want your girls watching a bunch of women that you know that basically are gay. If your daughter's not gay. And it hurts them. And they thinking that they're pushing that. I don't care what anyone says. Excuse me. When you take a bunch of players and you go to the gay pie parade and all this stuff, that's your celebration, that's fine. But you got to realize a lot of people that's going to watch you, you're turning them off. You're turning them off as much as you think you turn them on, and they don't want to be part of it. So a lot of times you're talking about nobody's paying attention because I'm just going to be honest, a lot of people in America look at their league as a bunch of dykes just playing basketball. That's what they look at, bro. And the way they treat Candace Parker, there's no way, as talented as she is, she catches a lot of hell because she's straight, point blank. She's a talented, beautiful woman, but because she is straight, and the way she handles her business, she's not well respected, and they just find little ways to basically spite her. And that's all it is, bro. I would never bite my tongue when it comes to that, anything else, and that's what it comes down to. And that's his reason why we can, sometimes it's the WNBA, but no, it's basic players or basic their lifestyles in general. Let's be honest, man. At least I'll be honest. Some of these women run down the court looking like dudes, bro. They're looking like dudes. And it's the reality. It's the harsh reality where we live and what they're facing. You got these women looking hardcore. Who wants to sit down with their daughter as a man? Do I want to sit down with my 6-year-old and watch that? Let's be honest. Now, I know we live in America. You can do whatever you want to do. But don't expect people to own up to that and like that when they don't. So I bring that back to Candace Parker, a beautiful young woman. I would love, if I had my daughter, I would love her to look up to Candace Parker and admire, not because she's straight, just what she represents. So when you tear her down, just keep in mind, you're tearing the league down. And that's what the WNBA has allowed itself to do.
Help me understand this, Black. Is it the players that who are lesbian going after the straight players, or is it the organizations going after these players?
I would venture to say this. It's a combination of both, because some of the organizations are run by gay people, bro. Some of these women are in predominantly responsible, strong roles. They're gay, and they're letting their emotions get in the way, and they're doing some silly, dumb things. I think when Gino Oriano went after Candace Parker, it was more of a kind of a rival thing that he had against Tennessee. But when the WNBA does that, no, bro, that's not it. Like I said, she was a defensive player. Then you turn around, you throw all these names around. No, if she's a defensive player, let her stand by herself. Don't put her on the team and not put her on there. It's a bunch of BS. But at the same time, that's why your league is not what it can be. You know what I mean? You can be there and flourish, but stop acting with this spite. You really can't. I remember, I don't even want to say, well, I am going to say her name. I remember years ago, Cheryl Swoops, one of the baddest WNBA player there was. This girl balled. When I say ball, she balled out. Soon as she left the league, the first thing she come back and said, she was married, had kids. She come out, all right, I'm going to come out now. And to me, that's just kind of, to me, I found that to be harsh because now you want to come out, basically, you had your time. You don't want people to think that about you, but it kind of said what's going on with the WNBA. I remember years ago when the league first started, but I went to Madison Square Garden, and it was so popular. I had to sit up top to watch the Liberty play the Houston Comet. At that time, Houston Comet were tough. When I tell you the majority of the people that were there were gay women, bro. Gay women. I'll leave it there.
All right. Wow. Yeah, I'm getting an education just sitting here listening to it. I know we've talked about it in the podcast years ago, but that was a great explanation to folks that hadn't heard us talk about that before. But I always thought it was more of the players that did that, other than the ownership or the organization. So it's enlightening to kind of hear that it's on both sides. But I never understood. I mean, she's one of the most talented players the WNBA has. And I always thought that they were jealous of her marketability. She can go to the NBA, she can go to college basketball, and she's kind of going, kind of spreading herself out there doing other things. And if she didn't pick up another basketball play, please take over for either Shaq or Barkley on the WNBA, please, because I learned more from her than those guys. Those guys are just idiots. They offer nothing in those telecasts. I'm so glad they don't have the finals. I'm so glad. I guess they're getting Emmys and stuff, and that's why they keep doing it. I just don't get it. I can't sit there and watch them. As soon as the game is off, I turn. I can't sit there and watch them because they give you nothing.
I'm going to say this about the guy that won Emmys. I can't think of his name that sits there. Because Kenny Smith, to me, what they really should do, if you don't bring Candace Parker on, take Shaq and Charles away, put Kenny Smith with the cat. I can't think of his name. Ernie. Ernie's good. Yeah. And I give Ernie's credit because he's been around those buffoons for years, bro. And I ain't afraid to call him that because that's what they act like when they're on television. If you would just allow Kenny and Ernie to do the show, it would be a very good show. Because Kenny is knowledgeable, he brings it, he gives you what you need. But Shaq and Charles has no, I don't even know what Shaq's saying half the time, bro. I have no idea what he's saying. Most of the time, 90% of Shaq talks about what he did when he was a player. Shaq, you was a basket hogger, you was a slammer. Your game wasn't pretty, bro. I'm glad you won your championship, to be honest. When we think about centers of the NBA, your name didn't even come up, bro. And I love you, Shaq. I'm be honest. Your name didn't even come up because you didn't really have a game. You was brute. That's all he was. We think of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you think of the hook shot. You think of Shaq, what do you think of? What did he give you?
Yeah.
Charles Barkley, let's be honest.
Yeah. Shaq dominated because he was the biggest guy there. And he didn't have the skills of some of those big guys. Like you had Hakeem Olajuwon. I would even say Patrick Ewing. Some of those centers that were out there, he didn't have those skills. He really couldn't shoot. So he had to take high percentage shots. Not a good free throw shooter. No skills like Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. But they're them arguing all the time and threatening to kick each other's ass. It's not entertaining. It's really not entertaining. It's kind of sad to sit there and watch and them to get Emmys over that. They put Candace Parker there with Ernie and Kenny. I think that would be or they had some guest stars like I would even take Draymond. Well, Draymond's playing. But some of the guest stars they had, I would take over some of those folks.
I will say this about Candace Parker, man. ABC last year brought her in, and she worked with Robin Roberts and Michael Strahan. So it's just a matter of time, bro. It may never be TNT that when she decides, I was surprised, and I said this before, I don't know how much longer she's going to play because they're just waiting for her to retire, bro. Television is waiting for this young lady to retire, and she's going to be doing some great things. You see it coming. They're setting the foundation. So it's based on when she decides she wants to move on. But for her, she has to do it on her own time. But she's done enough, in my opinion, to walk away because even the Lakers, the head coach, that's there now, that idiot, last year benched her during the playoffs for no reason at all, bro. None. Fisher. And my point is this, bro. If you can't coach, and I'm not, you do whatever you want to do. But if you get your ass fired from coaching New York Knicks, why run your little sissy ass after you got your butt kicked by homeboy anyway and go coach women's basketball? Excuse me. That's a punk ass move, bro. Punk ass move, Derek Fisher.
Last second shot, Ice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this, man. We are losing some, as Black Thor mentioned, some great African American men and men in general. But man, I'm gonna say this: it's hard to just watch some of our top-notch athletes go by the wayside. May they rest in peace. Bob Gibson's of the world, man. Guys like that. A guy from my hometown, Dayton, Ohio, Dwight Anderson, aka the Blur. If you don't know who he is, Google him and watch. He's a short little documentary. And the thing that really bothers me when we talk about these athletes, we talk about them like the Lou Brocks of the world, is that we want to give them flowers afterwards, man. We got to do better, man. We got to do better because they meant so much to so many young boys and young girls, and they've meant so much to what they stood for. And we want to give them their love afterwards, man. And oftentimes it's too late. It's just sad as hell to me. Particularly, you don't know what that could have meant to somebody.
Yeah, and a lot of these, and what I try to do is younger cats that are much younger than me is bring up these names and tell them, Google it, watch this, you need to look out for this. The same where our uncles and pops used to tell us about folks in their day and what they did. So I find myself doing that a lot often because like Black always says, and I'll give you just the last second shot, they throw the word great out there. And I don't think they really know what great is until they see some of these athletes that came way before our time and in our time. Black, last second shot.
Hey, my last second shot is to this show, bro, because, we find a way, man, to say some things, to do some things that folks just aren't ready for, but they're open to. And we say some things, even tonight, man, this show alone, we bring some things out there that other networks are afraid to talk about. And I admire that, and I love that, and I want us to keep going strong with that, bro. That's my shot.
Yeah, I have to follow up with that because the original intent of this show is for guys that are knowledgeable about sports to sit around and have some real sports talk. Things that we talk about on the telephone and talk about when we're together. And there are a lot of people who listen to us, and I'll get text messages and things of that sort. It's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm not hearing in other sports shows. So if you will, give us a chance, hit us up on our YouTube channel, go to our old podcast, anywhere where you see the Goon Squad Sports Radio Show or First 40, hit us up. We're not afraid to talk about these issues. We're the Bernie Mac. I said this a long time ago. We're the Bernie Mac of sports talk. We say what people want to say but can't.
We ain't scared of you, motherfuckers.
Catch us on. Black has been messing with me about these picks and the results, and he knows that I put them out after the Monday night game. He can't wait. Act like you've been there before, man. I'll put him out. You know the rules. You and Pop. I'm saying that to Pop, too. You and Pop. Quit texting me.
Always give a preview on this show on the night, man. That's all I'm saying. Give a preview. Why you got to wait to the final game? You know we all got the same picks for the next 2 games, bro.
Black, look.
Give a preview, a trailer, anything.
A teaser, something.
We'll see you Wednesday night for the picks. Black did well. How about that? The preview. Black did well. All right. We'll see you on Wednesday for the NFL picks. Week 5.
Love you too, brothers, man. You all go easy.
You too, man. Enjoy.
Where's that football, bro?
Oh, it's here. It's here.
Okay, I just checking.
We're still champion to the season.
It looks like it's getting a little rubbed off a little bit.
Season ain't over.
Right,
We're still on to the champion.
That's you. You are still champion.
I'm still champion.
You okay?
You sound like LSU in college football.
Champion on paper.
Officially, you are the lineal champion. Like
I'm lineal champion.
In boxing. You know what that means?
Puma has spoken. I am still champion. Puma,
you know what that means? Yeah, you are. Congratulations.
Like your daddy beat you.